Hello and welcome to the SEO Friday show on Wednesday with the eminent SEO reporter Barry Schwartz and the SEO ethicist and researcher and consultant me, Josh Brzezinski. Barry, how are you doing today?
Good. I'm trying to get the halo behind me to work a little bit better, just so people know my presence in the room is really important.
I see that you're heavenly. You're like a ray of sunshine. You're just trying to blind us because there's like something going on with your face or something.
I'll move over here. Okay.
There you go. Blinded by the light. Barry. So, Barry, we've been off the air for a few weeks. Do you want to explain to our many viewers maybe why this is?
There's a Google algorithm called Panda that came along and slapped me really hard. I took it really hard emotionally. I was curled up in a ball for about two and a half weeks, and finally I decided, hey, there's always Yahoo and Bing. Cheer up and move on.
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. So, were you really hit by Panda?
I think so. Yeah. Also
Maybe.
triplets, but
I thought a little birdie told you that maybe that wasn't the case.
I think the birdies are wrong.
The birdies are wrong. The birds were talking to you through the window. Okay, well, so there you have it, folks. Even the highest quality possible site. This is the best argument I could make for Google being unethical. Because if Barry Schwartz's site gets hit by Panda, which is clearly the highest quality site on the internet for anything.
It's godly. I mean, look, it's godly.
Then clearly Google must be unethical if your site's getting hit by Panda.
Right. Exactly.
There's one thing we can agree on.
Should I share this so people can watch it live, or who cares?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, whatever.
Sure, people can watch it later. People can watch it live. There's people watching it now. Anyway, so welcome to the SEO Friday show on Wednesday. I don't know why it's called that. I really don't. Maybe it's because Wednesday is Fridays for SEOs because we don't work the rest of the week. Maybe that's why we call it that. I really don't know, and quite frankly, we'll probably never find out. It's a mystery. It's one of those mysteries that no one knows anything about. Just like why was Barry's site hit by Panda? Why?
Yeah, a lot of mysteries. Why did I have triplets? You know, stuff like that. It doesn't make sense.
How could you possibly be so prolific? Okay, anyway, so this week I want to talk about Google, and they're extending the various kind of things on the SERPs, on the search results page. They're making all kinds of changes to the search results page in terms of the knowledge panel, in terms of giving answers. For example, they definitely put in the local news box, in the local box, they've definitely changed the results there for testing it anyway, for a couple things, like when you search waterfront hotel in one of the cities, the actual listing for waterfront hotel showed up. Also, they're changing the SERPs in other ways by extending the answers and actually allowing people to click on a how do I do this link and go on to see things like that on the SERP. Functionally, and I've argued this before, but I'll say it again, and I'm not the only one either. Functionally, of course, this is taking traffic away from the websites that used to give that information and takes the ability away from those websites to monetize their traffic and takes the ability of those websites away to brand their presence in a way, just to get their name in people's brains that they did before. Personally, I have a lot to say about this, but I want to ask Barry, what do you think about this before I go off on my customary rant?
I personally think it's unfair for publishers, although I think it's a good user experience for the searcher. I just think Google needs to balance that act a little bit better than they are now. I think they need to, I don't know how, I don't know if it's compensation, they just got to source it better. Like, recently they changed it so that when you do a search for certain types of queries and the answers come up and it's Google related, there's like an action button, like, you know, show me how to do this. And it like takes you to a certain place on Google's website about it. Like if it's specifically AdWords, it was an example of an AdWords question that said, how do I do this? An action button with an arrow, you click it, it actually takes you into the path of doing it. Yes. They should, if Google, I think that's a good approach. I think if Google does source your content for answers, I think they should give you a way through some type of tool, webmaster tools or whatever, to enable what icon you want to show there of a list of approved icons as a call to action, and then where you want them to go from there. If you're that good enough for them to source an answer, and you're trusted that way, you should trust them to give you to allow you to actually enter in which icons you want and where you want that link to go. Assuming Google will even say, here's 5 links for this potentially to go to. Pick one of the best. I think that's the least Google do. I don't think compensation is something you'll see, nor easy for them to do. But I think that's a fair approach. I don't think anybody's come up with that approach before, so maybe that would be a fair approach.
So kind of like managing your site links would be the same kind of idea.
Managing your site links, but picking an icon, because they started experimenting with icons for those answers. So I think that would be a good approach.
That's interesting. Of course, a little birdie told me that they were talking about compensating authors that they use for the knowledge panel.
I can't see how that would happen. I just can't see logistically how that would work.
Little birdie's not there now, so I really can't see how that would happen.
I don't know. You were right that he's not coming back in 2014. Did you get paid up? Did you get your money?
Well, you just told me I was right. I should write this down where's my phone? On this date, Barry said I was right.
I didn't say I was wrong. I said you were right. So.
Well, you always say I'm wrong. No, Baruch Lubinski from Rank Secure, I believe his company is called, in Toronto. Rank High, Rank Secure, Rank with Baruch, something along those lines. I'm sorry, Baruch, I can't remember your company name. But I remember your name. It's Baruch Lubinski, and yeah, he owes me $100. He hasn't paid up yet. Actually, to his credit, he wanted to pay up, but I wouldn't let him, so I just hold it over his head for longer. And I'm sure once he sees this, he's going to flip out. He's going to message me on Google Plus and give me your PayPal so I can pay you. I think it's kind of funny. But yes, I was right. In my experience, when someone writes a indefinite leave post like that, it's usually not just because they're going on vacation, and it's usually a longer thing. I've also been harassing this poor fellow. This is Matt Cutts we're talking about, for those of you who are not aware. I've also been harassing Mr. Cutts on his blog. It's the only way he hasn't blocked me yet to message him. So with my important critiques that he pays very much attention to make crucial adjustments to Google's PR strategy and their business model. I have a direct line to Matt Cutts where he makes those changes.
All right, so back to this Google Answer stuff. So you were basically saying they're showing more of it. What were you saying?
No. I mean, okay. So my customary rant on this regard is very similar to other people's customary rant. I think it's unethical. Obviously, I mean they're taking traffic away. They use our websites. They scrape the information off of our websites, and they steal that, and they put that on their own website. And then they monetize that traffic. They benefit from that information that we took the time to research, and we took the time to prepare, and we took the time to fact check, and we took the time to put on our websites. They're killing business model after business model, like the business model of making a fact website or an informational website. They're killing those business models as they take that information off of our sites, which they parasitically use to make their search engine. They remove that from us and put it on their search engine. Obviously, I think this is the very definition of obviously immoral. And
so what's new with? I mean, let's talk to me about. We know this. Everybody has the same argument on the publisher side. I don't think there's any publisher who actually likes Google doing this. What else do you have to say about this? Something new. I thought you had something new about this. I don't know if you repeat the same thing over and over again.
Well, no, that's more or less what I do is repeat the same thing over and over again. But I do have something new. There is something big on the horizon coming up. I don't want to mention what it is right now, but there is something big coming up. You know, Barry might know about this. I might have something to do with this. You know, it's not that Barry had triplets. I have nothing to do with the triplets. Just to make that clear, that had nothing to do with me. That's not the big news I'm talking about. But something else. I might be in New York at some time in the future, and you might see Barry and I. We could even do an in-person SEO Friday show. You never know. So I'm just saying I have something different. Something's coming.
Okay. All right, fine. Sounds good. All right, so I thought you. I don't know. I thought you were gonna say they changed up the answers, so they're showing more answers.
Here's something new. Here's something new then. Here's you want a new rant for me? Here's a new rant. There's another problem to them taking information and putting it on the SERP, other than what I've just said, than stealing from people. And it's what I call the danger of the right answer, or the danger of the correct answer. Google, in their quest to make, and it's saying all in its quest to make Google more like that Star Trek computer you fell in love with as a boy watching reruns of Star Trek, that you could talk to and it would answer in Majel Barrett's voice and give you the answer as if it was a person and knew it was like an artificial intelligence. In their quest to do that, they have failed to realize that some answers are nefarious and there is no right answer. There is no correct answers for some areas, right? And they're pushing websites to be on one topic. They're pushing websites to give that correct answer for a one-to-one formulation that makes it as easy for them as possible to, how tall is Tom Cruise? Oh, he's 5'4". You know, how old is Barack Obama? Oh, he's 54. You know, there's a correct answer for these factual kind of questions, but is it ethical for Google to take this information and put it on their server? You know, of course, their knowledge panel will come up saying yes, you know, yes, period. That's what they'll want to say. But my point is, of course, there's various answers where, and I think it's more answers that they'd like to admit or would like to accommodate in their programming, because it's easier to program for a one-to-one correlation. That there's various answers that are subjective, debated, and debatable. Wikipedia handles this pretty well by having a multiplicity of people who can go and edit the information and correct each other and get references until finally there's some kind of a group consensus. Do you ever see? One, do you understand my point? Two, do you agree with it? And three, do you ever see Google moving into a position more like their Wikipedia, where they have a consensus of people who can edit it until a group of people who can edit it until they find more of a consensus?
So it was interesting. They were testing last night. I think the Night Visibility blog, or one of those blogs, spotted that Google was testing a new answer box that you could actually scroll through. Like you search for, let's say, how tall is whatever, you could actually scroll through different results to see what other websites are saying. So that's one way to handle the subjective answers, is to say these people say this, I guess, or not show it at all. I mean, Google doesn't have answers for every single query you do. So they don't have to show for those questions that are not really, don't have answers. Pushing people to give answers when there's no answer is a whole different story. So I don't think, I think Google's smart enough to say, you know, these types of queries don't, you know, get answers, and thus we shouldn't force publishers to do so. It's not good for them. It's not good for the searcher.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's an issue. I don't. I mean, they just came out with a roll your dice, flip the coin, little gimmick stuff. There's no answer to that. It's just fun. But it's interesting, the whole swipe thing. That would be interesting to see how that goes. I still think that's bad for publishers in general, although I think publishers would actually lighten up a bit if they actually offered that feature, the second links feature with the icon. I think that's a good idea. I think I'm going to have a blog about that tomorrow.
Better, because then you might end up in the top 10, for example, swipes. You could be one of the answers there, and that would go to both, one, giving different answers to a more subjective question, but two, maybe allaying some of the anger of publishers, as you mentioned, that at least they showed up in the carousel. But don't you think there's a danger to this, though? Because there's a spectrum of answers from how tall is Tom Cruise? He is XYZ feet tall. How old is Barack Obama? He's 50 whatever. To, you know, what is the best kind of cheesecake, to completely subjective answers. There's going to be a gray area somewhere in the middle where they're going to have to make a decision. We will answer on these questions. We will not answer on these questions. And there's going to be edge cases here where they're going to give a right answer to something someone else is going to say is subjective.
Right. There was a case of that with, was it Jon Stewart? About how tall he is?
Yeah.
And he went on his show, I think it was Jon Stewart, I am not, he brought up Google's results. It says he's 5'11", but really he's 5'10", or whatever it might be. And he goes the whole rant, and Google actually changed it, saying he's 5'10 and a half. So obviously they have control over that. Obviously they're pulling it from databases that have, or structured content that they could verify based off of certain types of quality metrics. So I don't know. It's something they have to judge. There's obviously cases where Google's wrong on those answers. There's a feedback link. People can actually report issues. Google doesn't really act that quickly. Initially, when they launched a Google Knowledge Graph, there were porn issues. A lot of adult content showing up in the images for certain people. Yeah. So hackers, black hats, or certain people who like to mess around with Google, I'm not going to name specific names, but those people who, did you remove the skeletons behind you and dinosaurs and stuff? What happened?
Yes, I'm moving offices. This is probably the last broadcast I'll do in this office, actually. So.
This is your home?
Yeah, this is my condo. I just bought another condo just across the hall.
So you're going to be in both, or you're moving out of here?
I'm moving out of here. This is probably the last one I do here. So it's the last broadcast in this office.
What, you're upgrading, bigger space?
Oh, yeah.
Having kids? Do you have kids? Or?
No, I don't have any kids.
You thinking about it?
No, let's get back. You're trying to avoid the question.
Triplets are in style now. You're interested. Anyway, what are we talking about? We're talking about...
So I'm talking about the danger of the right answer. You know, it's...
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think Google's... they have wrong answers. They have bad answers. They have good answers. I think it's something that's...
Consider it this way. So Gary, our good friend Gary from various Hangouts, he complains about this quite a bit. So this waterfront hotel example, the actual name of the hotel is the Waterfront Hotel. But you can tell by this search query that people were searching for a hotel on the waterfront of, I think it was San Diego or whatever, right? And so the hotel with the name, Waterfront Hotel in its name, is the one they showed and gave complete priority to, whereas every other hotel that happens to be on the waterfront in San Diego then was literally off the first page. There's that case. There's another case in the knowledge panel where I believe if you searched virtual office or virtual office something, and looking for a generic virtual office software, you got the virtual office software that's called virtual office. So there's these kinds of things where...
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think Google fixed some of those already. Like anything, they have algorithms. The algorithms are sometimes wrong. In some cases, they get certain sites labeled as being impacted by Panda when they shouldn't be. I'm not going to say which sites. There are some cases where they're wrong. You should never tell Google they're wrong because that doesn't really help you.
No, typically not.
But with answers, they could clearly be wrong, and that's very easy for you to report. How quickly they act on it depends on how loud you are out there. So this will improve over time. I don't think this going away. I don't think complaining about it's going to help. I do think suggesting practical things to them will encourage them to take certain actions going forward, and we'll see what we can do on that front.
That's an interesting point. They seem to be, as much as they say they like to debate the philosophy of search and the theories of search, they seem to be, in my experience, fairly resistant to any philosophical or theoretical discussion, and they always go to, well, what would you do instead, or how would you fix it? They always go to the practical suggestion.
Yeah.
Now, this is good just because they're busy and they don't have time for philosophical discussions. Or it could be because they're elitist and they don't want to broach any philosophical discussions.
Or they don't know.
Exalted roundtable.
Or certain people don't know how to answer the question. So.
True.
I think most of the people who we interact with are really genuine. I think they really care. I think they mean the best. I don't think it's something they're trying to answer a certain question in a way to confuse you or to lead you in the wrong direction or something like that. I know a lot of these people from before they were actually Googlers, when they were just people, ordinary SEOs like you, digging themselves, reaching up to trying to do something. Now they're big-time Googler stars, but they were at a point, they were certain types of people, and they haven't changed. Their personality hasn't changed much, and they're dealing with it from the other side. So I don't know, but should we talk about mobile stuff, or should we just talk about that next week, or whatever?
What did you want to talk about with mobile?
This is the big change with mobile. Do you follow SEO, or you just ran?
I'm moving. I don't know what you're talking about. What's this mobile thing you're talking about?
Okay. So if you read sites like Search Engine Land or Search Engine Roundtable or the official Google Webmaster blog, you would have heard that Google their big announcement was that if you do a search on your mobile device, Android, iPhone, for anything, and a site's mobile friendly, it will have a mobile friendly label in the search results. This is a simple thing that says mobile friendly. Okay, they were testing that since 2012. They tested it more rapidly in the past few months. Now it's official. 2, they came up with a really cool tool to actually show you if your site does pass that score to say if you're mobile friendly. So that's a good way to check that. But the most interesting thing is they had a one-line thing in there that said, let me quote them. The one line said we are also experimenting with using a mobile-friendly criteria as a ranking signal.
Right.
So they already have a ranking signal around mobile-friendly. They launched in 2013 or 2012 around demoting websites that had redirect issues around mobile or were just completely not mobile-friendly at all and pretending they were. Now they're talking about another mobile ranking criteria, which they didn't say what it was, but it's all around this whole new tool where it says it actually checks the mobile usability around your website. You know, the font sizes, the layouts, and stuff like that. They're testing it. They wouldn't commit to if it's a promotion, a demotion, or what, and they wouldn't commit to pretty much any of the questions I've asked around it. But it's being tested. So I find it very, very interesting.
They did mention previously it would be a demotion.
I don't think whoever said that knows what they're talking about.
No, okay.
I mean, any demotion could be a promotion.
You're just speaking so highly of at Google.
The way the algorithms work, you know, one site that might be mobile friendly, one site that's not. So the mobile friendly site might go above it, so the other one's demoted. It's not. The algorithm doesn't work promotion demotion. It's more about what signals.
Well, some do.
Kind of.
Not kind of. Some clearly demote, and some clearly promote.
Well, some promotions might look like a demotion, and some demotions might look like a promotion.
True. True.
So we don't know exactly what does what. Obviously, Penguin is clearly a case of a demotion.
So is Panda.
Panda is likely, although they want you to be confused and say some Panda signals might promote websites because they.
Yeah.
But only Google really knows. This seems more like it seems like they had the demotion version of it already since 2013, and it looks like they're looking at a thing about maybe promoting sites that do meet these criteria. Although, again, it's hard for us to know because it could be both in this case. In this case, I can see it being both, promotion and demotion. So it's very interesting to see how that will go. Obviously, I would recommend every single site to be mobile-friendly, even without Google telling them to do so. And if you're doing it anyway, just check the score in Google. It's a very quick tool. It doesn't really take much for you to be mobile-friendly. There's lots of WordPress templates out there. Or just use a whole new CSS style sheet for it.
Do you mean in Webmaster Tools, that tool there?
There's a tool in Webmaster Tools that shows you your mobile usability score, but there's a new tool. Let me get the URL.
There's the page speed tool as well.
It's in the page speed page. It's a separate algorithm. This is a new one. It's at google.com/webmaster/tools. Mobile-friendly, which you just plug in a URL to. It actually is pretty quick. It tells you if you pass or fail, and if you fail, it tells you why you failed. So definitely take a look at that.
Let's check this thing out here.
Is it unethical to... Some people dislike the idea of having a mobile-friendly tag in the results. Some people dislike the concept of demoting or promoting sites in the mobile search that are not mobile or are mobile-friendly. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if there's any ethical things around that.
I plugged in a site that was recently hit by Panda, so we'll see. Maybe it'll, I don't know if it'll clear this test here. Let's see. Okay, so this site, seroundtable.com, it's a very, very naughty site. So it's awesome. This page is mobile friendly. Congratulations. And it looks like it's got some stuff here. You get to see some JavaScript stuff. You get to see how it looks. You can't.
It's funny. It tells you you're blocking stuff. You shouldn't be blocking this stuff. But specifically, the stuff that's blocked is the stuff that's hosted by Google. Google's ad server and ad server.
Yeah, look at that. Google Ad Services, Google Syndication. Yeah. Oh, Google. In constancy, thy name is Google. Okay. So anyway, that's the end of our SEO Friday show on Wednesday. With Barry and Josh. Barry, do you have any final comments for our viewers?
Even if you do get hit by a penalty, don't curl up in a ball like me. Take it like a man.
Don't cry. Everybody hurts sometimes. You know, Barry, is there a way that the general public can understand these search issues better? Do you think there's a way somehow, some way to get the information out to the general public better?
In terms of Google getting it out? In terms of what?
In terms of webmasters getting their plight out to the greater world.
Maybe through getting on major broadcasting channels, on the major news channels, climbing up on the George Washington Bridge and threatening to kill yourself if Google doesn't get back to you.
Okay.
Try that when you're in the city. I want you to do that.
All right.
Steal a flag while you're up there, and the news channels will come. You can say, "I was hit by Panda."
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. That's food for thought. That's interesting. That could be something people might want to think about in the future. Anyway.
It's a great link building idea.
Yeah. Do it just for link building. That's right. Suicide for link building. Google to blame. Anyway, so this has been the SEO Friday show on a Wednesday with Barry Schwartz and Josh Brzezinski. We'll see you sometime in the future when the date is good for stuff.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Signing off to everybody. See you later. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Any last words, Barry? Say bye, Barry.
Bye.